Hello, Bethany here. Today I'm going to share with you the third journal going to Hillcrest. It's an outreach program here in my community. I donate these to their counseling center just for their their participants that are taking advantage of that. It was a tool that was very helpful in my own counseling days. And so, yeah, we're just going to jump right into it. I don't have a whole lot of time. So the cover is made from a Tim Holtz fabric, one of my favorites. I included the doily on there, which I've been wanting to do for a while. I hope at some point to recreate this cover for myself because I absolutely love how it turned out. I love the buttons. I love the little jump rings. I have a little word plaque. It says salvaged. There's a little safety pin right here. Everything is stitched. So just a just a beautiful cover. I'm glad that it worked out that way. There are 8 signatures in this journal, this junk journal. I did them a little differently than I've done in the past, and I'll explain as we walk through it. The covers are pretty much the same. We've got, I learned this from Crafty Tony. It's a little paper bag that just pops up and you can hide some little paper ephemeras in there. Same on the back cover with the pop-up paper bag. And then I added in a little tag tuck spot. And then this is what I was talking about on my signature. So my signatures, the actual signature is this piece. It's like an inch and then all the way down. And then I added this piece to that page that's stitched in. And I did that on every page, pretty much. So this is my page, and then I added the fabric. This is my page, and then I added this scrap piece of paper that I had some stenciling on. And then here is the other piece of that. So that's where the signature is, the middle of the signature. And then I added this tea bag on and made it like a pocket. So this book is very, very eclectic because I used lots of scrap papers. All of these that I threw in are scrap papers. But it made a very interesting junk journal. And I will probably do this again at some point, but maybe make my signature pieces a little bit more coordinating, I guess, if you will. Not necessarily neutral, but I want them to correspond a little better together. So like here's a page, and here's a page that don't have anything on it. So they could literally like glue something and have it hanging out still. Here's the next signature piece, and I just added in a transparency that's been in my stash for years. They could certainly staple something onto this. I added in a few of these bigger journaling pages just so they had lots of room to write. This one was another raised embossing from a stencil, and then in the back I kind of made it a double pocket. So there's 2 places to add something in. Here's a blank page they could add something to. And on this one, this is another bag. It's just one of those little gift bags. So I stitched it in. I incorporated the side of it around my page. So there's the bag and there's the bag. It kind of hugs that page. And then I stitched it along the bottom to make another little pocket. And it's a 2-sided pocket. So I thought that worked out really well. There's some music paper that folds out. This one I added a tag onto. This one's free. They can do something with. And it just follows through the whole book very much like that. And then I've added in just bits and pieces here and there to kind of spruce it up a little bit, give them a starting point. This piece comes out right here. I got my daughter a Kendra Scott necklace a few years back for Christmas, and it came in this little like slash pocket, so I added that on. I had a little pocket here, so I just added in another scrap paper. And they could add something to the back of that for sure, you know. Here's a vellum piece, another vellum piece that I've stitched into a pocket because I pulled it into the page a little bit. So just this little piece creates the pocket. Here's an open sheet they could add something to, another of the journaling spots. This one's an open page they could add a photo to, or if they journal on another piece of paper, they could glue it in or hand stitch it in if they want. This one is just a brown paper sack that I added onto this white piece. So on here I added the tea bag and made it a pocket, and then here I added a little file folder that pops open. There I added more of the fabric and then included a little eyelet with a charm hanging off of it. Here's another one of my embossing pages, just a scrap page that's been in my stash for a while. And they could do whatever they want back here. They could hide a couple of photos. They could, you know, write some journaling, whatever. This one is another bag, but it's a flat bag, so it's just stitched on one side. They could put something down inside of there. And then I included this little envelope to make a second pocket. And then on the back, I added the half bag to make another pocket. So lots of hidey holes, lots of places to stick bits and pieces. Here's another one of the acetates. I think this was an Allie Edwards one that I picked up years ago. Here is just it's a black like copy paper type of weight. And I just folded it, and I had folded it up and then folded it in half. So this creates a pocket and this creates a pocket, but then they could also honestly stick something hiding back in between those because it goes all the way down. They'd have to worry about it coming out the bottom of that, but you know, if you had something fairly wide, it would stick in there without falling through. This one I added an envelope to, and it just pops open with a couple of cards inside there and then just wraps around itself to stay shut. I thought that was pretty cool. Here's another open page. Here's another one of those brown paper sacks that I just stitched on the other side to this green and polka dot paper, and I added another envelope with a tag. And then on the back, I included another ticket that made like a little text spot. And then this is just a collage piece I included in. This is probably one of my largest pages all by itself. So they could certainly add something to that. They could add something to this. And then here, again, another one of my just scrap pieces that's been in my stash for years. I had an embossed camera. That's just, when I say embossed, it's the textured paste, and you use it with a plastic stencil, and it kind of creates that raised effect. And then I added on this little bell. I was trying my hand at rusting metal, and I thought that turned out really cool, but it just seemed to fit this whole book for being very eclectic. This is just another copy weight type of paper. I had to reinforce it a little bit because it was a little bit too flimsy, so I put the opening here, added a couple of side panels, and then put on this scrap piece of pattern music paper, and it just folds up and then comes over. And then on the back side, another one of those textured paste embossings with a note card tucked in there because I just glued it down on the top and the bottom, and then this side to kind of make a pocket. They could add something more to that page if they wanted to. Here's another one of the journaling spots. This one I added about halfway through it, but I added it's like a flecked paper, and I love this paper. I wish I could find more of this because it's really pretty. But yeah, added that in. This is another one of the bigger pieces that was in the signature, so I added on a pink vellum and glued it, and so now that's a pocket. Excuse me. Just some scrap paper. This some scrap paper. I added on this little transparency that kind of makes the photo behind it look vintagey, but they don't have to add a photo if they don't want. I just put that there because I thought it was cool. Here's another one of the flat sacks I added just to this side, down the side. So it's got a tag tucked into it. Just a little collage piece I added. Another scrap piece that I put on, and it just flips out. So they could hide something back there if they wanted to. Here's another one of the sack pages that I just added on. So they've got another tuck spot there. There's the journaling page. Another tea bag I sewed on right here. It's all by itself, so they could do, you know, I don't know, staple something on or paint on it or something like that. Here's the top of a bag that I added, and I added in the tag from this ticket, and the ticket is the last page. This one's empty, so of course they could add something. And then this repair tag is the last page in the book. But like I said, it's eclectic. It's not really, I made it. It's not really for me. It wouldn't be for everybody. But, you know, if you've got someone that really enjoys documenting and keeping ephemera and stuff like that, it's a great piece. So I hope that it's well received with the people in the counseling center. So far, they've all been really excited about the journals that I bring in, because they know they can work for them and then take them home and keep them forever. So I hope that this one is well received as well. They're all a little different. So that was the third one. And then we've already walked through these. This was the second one, and I believe this one was the first, or this was the first and this was the second one. So this time around, they're all very, very different. But I do hope that the people who are getting them are excited and just love them and use them. So anyway, thanks for watching. Here in the next couple of days, I will have part 2 of our cafe mini book that we're working on. And then after that, I've got a few more ideas to work on, but I've got to get through Christmas first. So bear with me. Anyway, I hope you all are having a fabulous day. If you're here in the Midwest with me, please don't blow away. We have some atrocious winds today. So just be careful while you're out and on the roads. And I hope everyone has a safe and happy holiday season if I don't see you before then. And thanks for watching. Bye.